What a beautiful day it is, everybody. Welcome back to Citizen Sleeper 2. We're gonna get right into it. I'm excited. I hope you're excited. Good time, good game. Much fun. Okay. So, last we left off, we had finished... This was Eugen's wreck, I do believe. It was miserable, and everything sucked. Eugen has spent the journey back from the far spindle avoiding Seraphim as best he can. It might be that he's afraid, but you get the feeling it is more likely that he has been making himself scarce out of a genuine sense of regret. Seraphim, however, doesn't see his behavior so favorably. Slimy shit won't even show his face, Seraphim complains loudly as he finalizes docking. Put us in a spacer cruise site with no care for anyone but himself. Enough, Seraphim. Seraphim turns to shoot you an irritated look, but as he does, you see his eyes jump to the door behind you. You hear the rustle of movement behind your head, and turn to see Eugen in the cockpit's doorway, a rare serious expression on his face. I owe you all an explanation. His voice is low and steady. Believe it or not, this is not my plan. Yeah, the plan was to find the loot in that wreck and split with it, wasn't it, big man? Seraphim glares at Eugen. No, Eugen gives him a tired look. It wasn't. Hear him out, Seraphim. Bliss cuts in from the back of the cockpit. Thanks, Bliss. Vesna's been searching for a ship. Eugen looks over your head to the far spindle. An infamous ship. Seemed like she already had a ship, Seraphim interrupts. That was part of the problem. Not a rig, Eugen looks down towards him. A fraction drive ship, an interstellar ship. That seems to shut Seraphim up, and you don't blame him. An interstellar ship here, in the belt? That's tech from the core systems. No way. Eugen sighs. I get that you don't trust me, but I'm not lying. I shouldn't even be telling you now, Eugen frowns. Word gets out that there's a factory fresh fraction ship somewhere in the belt. People kill for less, he shakes his head. Gangs kill for much less. You told me there's a fraction ship that no one has ever found that's been sitting here since when? Seraphim shakes his head. Since the collapse? Believe it or not, that's not exactly it. Eugen looks to you. Vesna put me on the trail. She ordered me to find its location for repayment, he looks away. An old debt. At the moment I found the data that verified its existence, that confirmed the ship was out there, I couldn't give it to her. And that's what you found me. Why keep it from her? Eugen folds his arms. You may have met Vesna, but you don't know her. Eugen meets your eye. She's one of the last people in the belt who should have a ship like that. Well, no one has the ship now, if it even exists. Need to remind you that it wasn't there? Seraphim shrugs. Doubt it was a bust. No, Eugen shakes his head. It was there once. Those wrecks? Those were the ships that fought over the fraction ship. A bunch of Solheim corporate workers who wanted to get out of the system when it all came down. And that ship was their ticket. The Aphelion Path. Eugen looks out of the far spindle. It was there, but someone moved it. Hid it. Long before we got there. Sounds like a fantasy to me. Eugen nods. I believe in this fantasy, Sleeper. Eugen inhales long and deep. I am sorry, Sleeper. He looks at Bliss and Seraphim. To you both as well. I wanted to keep this secret. I wanted to find the Aphelion Path, and I knew that, if I did, you would understand. Still, I was wrong to manipulate you. He bows his head. Your head. Fuck! But I'm not done. He raises his head, his gaze hard now. I will find the ship, and I will leave the belt. How will you do that? Seraphim shoots him a sly look. With no ship of your own and Vesna at your back? Eugen ignores him and moves closer to you. Sleeper, I will uphold our deal. I will serve on your crew, and when I have news of Aphelion, you will know. How can I trust you? Only you can answer that, Sleeper, Eugen sighs. I would give you my word if it was worth anything. Seraphim turns to you. I know, I always say it, but this time you have to listen, Sleeper. Seraphim gestures to Eugen. This guy is no good. I've known his type. Don't bring him. This can be your escape too, Sleeper. Eugen meets your eye. You're in. Seraphim sighs, getting up from his seat. You got a lot to prove. He passes close to Eugen as he leaves. You better get on with it. Eugen meets his eye, but says nothing. When Seraphim is gone, he looks at you and nods. Thank you. He turns and leaves too. Quite the ragtag group we have here. Bliss nudges past you. I know you understand what a second chance means for you, Sleeper. They smile. But I am glad to see you. You understand that others need the same. They slip out before you can respond. You stare out of the cockpit at the lights of the far spindle. You hope Eugen understands his mistake, and you hope even harder that Vesna doesn't hold a grudge, even though you know for a fact she does. That's true. You sigh. The bunks are going to need expanding at this rate. Yes, they are. Sleeper, Seraphin catches your attention as you go to leave the ship. Can I have a minute? Of course. Is that a full crew? Is that the achievement I just got? Oh no, it's just recruit Eugen. Seraphin ducks into a maintenance passage and waits for you to follow. In a narrow passage framed by loose wires and thick conduits, Seraphin looks suddenly small, trapped. He looks for an open circuitry panel as he speaks, avoiding your gaze. You see he's playing with a coin in his hand, nervously spinning it in the air. Since we cleared Hexport, I've been putting feelers out for something. He rubs his hands nervously. I've been in the belt a long time, and I came here alone. But back on Darkside, just before we made a break for it, I heard something. I heard someone was looking for me. He pauses, trying to organize his thoughts. Who's after you? I also heard something else. They said the person looking for me claimed to be my sister. He waits for your reaction. Could be a ruse. Oh, I know, Sleeper. He shakes his head, but I need to know. The thing is, I haven't seen my sister in a long time. I was a kid when I left. So is she. Though I don't think she would have liked to admit it at the time. He smiles to himself. I know you don't remember how it was back in Darkside. We were alone, you and me. Lane didn't let us out much, just to work. That was all. So when I overheard one of the guys mention someone was sniffing around trying to find me, I didn't know what to think. He frowns. And then, hearing it could have been my sister, he goes quiet. You try to recall that time, the cycle spent under Lane's influence, working for him in exchange for stabilizer. You close your eyes, focus. The details flicker, the images collapse and reform. Has Seraphim told you this before? Was this all part of your plan? You wanted to go find her. Yes, he shrugs. It changed things for me. The thought that she could be out there. Don't get me wrong, I wanted to get you out of there too. He pauses, and you sense he is finding this difficult. I know it doesn't matter now, but I told you about her back then, before. I'm sorry, I don't remember. It's okay, Sleeper. I understand. Since we got away, since Hexport, I've been asking around, speaking to spacer traders, and like I said, something has finally come up. It seems whoever was trailing me left Darkside pretty soon after Ustubu caught wind of her sniffing around. I doubt they made her feel welcome, but I managed to get a name. The name she gave, Luz, wasn't my sister's, but that doesn't mean much. It gave me something to follow. She bounced around the wash for a little. Far spindle, flotsam, not sure why. He squints at a loose wire. The last thing she did was book passage to Wellspring on a Lotic freighter. That's it. I could have helped. I wanted something concrete, something clear. You want to help? Now's your chance. I want to go to Wellspring, Sleeper, to know if it's really her, and if it isn't, to settle what needs settling. Let's do it. Thank you, Sleeper. He meets your eye. I'll admit it's been strange reminding myself that everything we talked about back on Darkside, everything we did, it's lost now. He smiles. But I'm glad to see you're still you, whatever it means. Me too. He nods. Anyway, better get back to it. Seraphin squeezes past you in the corridor and glides back towards the engine room. You watch him go, wondering if your past together can ever be reclaimed. Your mind wanders to thoughts of Seraphin's sister. For a moment, you wonder what it is like to have a family, if you will ever know. I think you do know. I think you know, and you... I think one might say that Seraphin is family. He cares. Why didn't that... Okay. Okay. Excellent. Now we're repaired. We have glitch. That sucks. I hate glitch. We also have more of this, though. Let's be the engineer. That's good for us. I like engineer. Maybe I should have done engage, but I do like engineer. as a concept, so I like the thought of being strong and good with machines. Seems like a good combination of things to have. I don't know if there's really actually much else for us to do here. We need more supplies. Probably need some more fuel for sure. We have plenty of chits. Or credits? I don't even fucking remember what they're called. Cryo. I know it's called cryo, but I thought there was another slang term for it, but I might just be stupid. Might just be stupid. Yeah, I know, Lofus, you're really fucking dumb. I know that's what you're gonna say. Process scrap. Excellent. We should probably hit a different you know, a different place anyway, but I want to use my dice before I go anywhere, just because that's generally a good idea. Oh, I haven't done the here, actually. This isn't stuff I've done. We can spend the night here. That wouldn't be so bad. It's partially because I want to try to get rid of the glitch. That's a pretty good negative outcome, all things considered. This will make it so next time we come back here, we'll be all good. Jesus, okay. Harlequin is in a bag. She's being a little weirdo. Yeah, I can eat it here. Cupcakes. Shit, man. Let's fucking bounce, I guess. We can't get there. Hasnav required. We need a Hasnav. So right now, our options are Flotsam or Helion Gate. I know Helion Gate is abandoned, if I recall correctly. But if we go to, might be able to go all the way to Wellspring. Confirm vector. Just can't stay in one place for too long. It's hard to tell where Flotsam ends and the ship parked at its many docking bridges begin. As Seraphon docks with the station, you realize that the rig now looks like just another piece of accumulated technology. One more bit of driftwood added to the raft. Yes, it does. Holy shit. I love this place, Seraphon smiles as he shuts down the engines. You never know what you'll find. Been here before? Yeah, back when I first came to the Belt. The crew I signed on with used to run salvage jobs out of here. Fun place to spend your wages. You see Bliss eyeing the station with what looks like both horror and fascination. You see the seals? They point out the twisted assemblage of ship parts. Total cowboy wallets. They could pop at any moment. Seraphon waves away their concern. Oh, that's just the outer layer. I heard there's 6 or 7 in all, so if one fails, it's no problem. I'm sorry. He stretches and turns to you. You gotta taste some of the stuff they grow in old Takahe. He kisses his fingers. That's the good shit. Oh, great, Bliss sighs. So many layers of redundancy and fallbacks that you have no hope of isolating a leak and fixing it. They rap on the wall of the rig. Sounds like a ship I know. Seraphon joins in, the two of you shoulder to shoulder. She got you out here, didn't she? He shrugs at Bliss. No sense of gratitude. I was joking. Bliss looks a little hurt and drifts out of the cockpit, shaking their head. You go to follow, but Seraphon puts a hand on your shoulder. Sleeper. He looks suddenly curious. Remember what I said about getting checked out? There are artificers all over this place. It'll take a bit of searching, but we need to know what's going on with you when he meets your eye. I'll handle it. Good, Seraphim nuts. It's important. I'm gonna go see if any of my old haunts are still open. He drifts out of the cockpit with a mock salute. Catch you later. You're left alone in the cockpit with a view of Flotsam's chaotic structure. You go over the multicolored plating. It does, you admit, have a certain charm. It's cutesy. It's not very large, but it's cutesy. You and I analyze structure. Even as a negative outcome, we get Explorer. Hell yeah. We got new locations. We got the Ferris Trinker, scrap components, fuel, so we can get fuel from here. The Narrow Escape. Buy a mill, take a recovery contract. Sure, stranded rig. My rig's blown out of its propulsion and stranded on some godforsaken rock. Repair crew needed. We'll split hull. No time wasters and thieves. I'm armed. Hell yeah. We'll take that. Why not? We'll spend another day here exploring and stuff. And then after, we'll go out. Cycle. We'll send another cycle here, exploring and stuff. And then after that, we'll go and check out. Just neutral outcome. I was really hoping for positive there. Come on, positive. Yeah. The chaos of Flotsam intrigues you. Passage to passage is the most incoherent place you have ever visited. Plating, cladding, and cushioning of all kinds of conditions hides a forest of wires and ducts, interfacing in ways their manufacturers would never dream possible. Rooms have crushed cargo bays, flipped bridges, and eviscerated engine rooms. Patchwork corridors are lumpen with messy welds, bending worryingly along their length. Fuck, I didn't mean to double-click there. It is, to put nicely, a total mess. It's not that you don't like it, but finding an artificer amongst this chaos has been more than a little challenging. This cycle, searching these winding passages once more, seeing only scrap merchants and junk shops, you begun to wonder if Seraphim had any idea what he was talking about when he advised you to come here. A sleeper, the voice cuts through the pungent air. Well, I never. You glance in the direction and find yourself looking at a small booth piled with tech. Behind a fogged and scratched plastic screen is a meticulously arranged counter, the only clear spot in sight. At it, an older man with wet and wandering eyes sits neatly. Approach the booth. Jean-Mi tilts his head. I didn't mean to be rude, please, and he bows a little. That's okay. He smiles warmly, almost bowing again, his hunched shoulders accentuating the movement. He pauses, taking care with his speech now. How are you feeling, sleeper? Beckons you a little closer. I am Jean-Michel! Though, please, to you, Jean-Mi. Jean-Mi. I work with machines. He sweeps a hand above his head where you see configurations of tiny parts, mostly small ones. He smiles. Okay. Good, he chops with a hand to indicate a stool with a leg bar, meant for perching beside the counter. And such is the clarity and persuasiveness of the movement that you obligingly sit. Your presence is a rare honor here. He smiles and looks down in his lap. I am sorry if I made you uncomfortable. I'm just very pleased to see you. That's okay. He looks up. Very kind of you to say. I can see your journey to me has not been easy, he says with genuine concern. You track his eyes across your body, noticing the scuff marks on your thick vinyl-like skin. There are placed in broken parts of your body the marks of violence. You pull your jacket a little tighter. Jean-Mi folds his one hand over the other and places them on the counter. I do not know what your experiences have been, but I want to assure you that I see you as a person, a being, a soul, shall we say, as valid as any other. You look at Jean-Mi. I'm gonna say Jean-Mi. His own age and wear evident. A life of precise and careful work shaping his body into a reflection of his process. You note his unconfident way of speaking, which betrays a certain loneliness and lack of practice. It is his turn to feel observed. How do you expect me to respond? He looks away. I'm sorry, I do not think I am expressing myself well. He looks down at his counter and begins to take apart a tiny piece of machinery that sits there. Many years ago, when I began my apprenticeship, I would find that whenever I saw something that, was not working well, I was fixated on it and its repair. He tinkers with the parts, twisting them precisely. Of course, the belt is filled with this kind of dysfunctional detail. And so I was busy for many years with these small fixings. He smiles in reminiscence. But now I find when I am interested in the thing is not working as it should, he sharply twists one of the parts between his fingers. It's because it might have some quality not yet foreseen or discovered. He releases the altered object into the air where it balletically twists in a hypnotic display, like a spinning top whose movements are totally unpredictable. Jean-Mi smiles at you, watching his hypnotic toy. I can see that you are in a process of becoming a sleeper. He catches the spinning toy between his fingers and thumb. Let me aid you in this. What do you mean? Jean-Mi's precise hands drop a device around his neck. He deftly pulls a pair of goggles up to his face, masking his wet eyes. Hold still, sleeper. Something flickers inside his goggles, their face blank. Jean-Mi's hands play across buttons and switches on the exterior, tuning, focusing. Let him work. The goggles are finally lowered. They reveal a look of concern on Jean-Mi's face. I think you better come inside. He kicks off from his desk and disappears. A moment later, you hear a rattle and a small bulkhead door beside the booth that you had assumed was rusted shut creaks open. Jean-Mi beckons you inside. Jean-Mi's workshop is even more cramped than you expected. As you enter, you are surrounded on all sides with netting holding bundles and bundles of terminals, servers, drives, and cables. At its center, a padded seat and a set of articulated arms mounted with sensors and tools fill the space. The seat, please. Jean-Mi gestures at it with a polite smile. Sit. You tentatively settle on the seat, slipping your arms and feet into the straps meant to keep you from floating out of it in zero G. Jean-Mi floats beside you. He looks across your body. There is damage here. I see that. We will get to that. But I see something else here as well. This is why you came. He looks at you solemnly. Yes. Oh my gosh. I did not mean to cough. Without muting myself, apologies. Though I have never met a sleeper, I have studied them. I was lucky to acquire some materials from SNARP some time ago. And in the interest of my own endeavors, he begins arranging a series of sensors around you on articulated arms. You are pleasingly distinct from those materials. His eyes flash with excitement. Am I right in thinking that you've been modified? I rebooted myself. Yes, I see your dependency on stabilizer, on the immune recording portion of its makeup, at least, has been broken. He gives you a precise look. But that is not all. You are physically modified. Not externally, but internally. He carefully positions the final sensor. Your tracker is disabled, what makes it impossible for SNARP to find you. Congratulations, he smiles broadly. But this is not all. You have been modified, yes, but you are also being modified as we speak. Oh, that's not good. You feel a strange claustrophobia at Jean-Mi's statement. Modified? Seraphine rebooted your system, ran the recoding protocol, but that shouldn't have physically changed you. It only removed your planned obsolescence. How? Jean-Mi goes to a terminal and flicks a switch. Through the back of a translucent screen, you see a nodal web in a vague shape of a sitting body. Your body. These changes appear to be complex, subtle, but consistent. Jean-Mi goes silent as he taps at the terminal, the representation of your body rotating and unfolding in unsettling motions. How is this happening? How is a good question, he squints. How I am unsure of. See here? He points at a flickering representation of your spine, tracing a line towards your head. Your nervous system is growing additional node points here and here. Meanwhile, your emulation interface is growing an umbilical access port, though towards what end I am sure. You instinctively reach back and touch the base of your head. As you do, the scan flickers and screeches with noise. You feel for something there, growing under your thick vinyl skin. Can you feel a lump, or is that just your imagination? You pick at it. Jean-Mi sighs and shuts off the terminal. The changes are partial, and, in all honesty, he gestures at the SNARP sensors, the resolution is too poor. I need to run a full diagnostic. For that I will need. He drifts over to another terminal and brings up screens and screens of text and diagrams. Yes, some kinds of medium to hold your suspended emulation. The access jack I can build myself. But we will need to bridge your emulation, Jean-Mi speaks quietly, almost to himself. A ship mine would be ideal for this. would have to be high capacity, a prime ship mine, Solheim in origin. Perhaps Helion Gate might hold records of any that were in the system. He taps the terminal. Jean-Mi turns back to you. Yes, the prime ship mine is essential if you wish further investigations to be done. I will need this above all. He thumbs the terminal off. I am sorry to sleep, Sleeper. Can you tell me more? Accurately? No. He meshes his finger in front of his chest. It is clear that a process has begun, but has yet to complete. Jean-Mi busies himself with taking down the sensors and folding away the articulated arms. As he does, you try to calm yourself. You feel as if you have worms under your skin, and it takes all your focus not to pick at your seams. Jean-Mi suddenly but gently places a hand on yours. Please remain calm. He puts a carefully restored rare component in your hand. This can help you. Jean-Mi waits for you to fall still, then leans back a little, retrieving some of the strange intimacy of the moment. For now, our work is concluded. He meshes his fingers again and bows with a small head bob. But you are welcome any time. Thank you. Of course. His manner seems to have returned to something more businesslike. A humble man who knows his customers' needs. You get up from his seat a little dazed and push away from this passage. Safe travels, Sleeper, Jean-Mi says quietly, placing the promised list in your hand as he gets you back into the station. You leave dazed, unsure of how you feel about the insistence of this man's particular kindness. Particular, but most of all haunted by the idea of the unseen processes that are running within you. Part of you does not wish to know anything further, to leave this place and never look back, and another is desperate to immediately retrieve every object on the list so that you may know what strangeness is happening within you. For now, you must steady yourself and find a way to continue. Seraphim comes to find you in your bunk. After Jean-Mi's assessment, you find yourself drifting back to the rig, in need of the familiarity and comfort of your own ship. Sleeper, he drifts in. You found an Artificer? He hovers by the door, looking concerned. Explain. You tell him about Jean-Mi, how he offered you repairs and ran an assessment of your frame. You describe the cramped booth, the articulated arms, the strangeness of seeing your own body anatomized upon the terminal screen. Then you tell him that your body is changing, growing in ways Jean-Mi cannot identify. That some process has started and you do not know where it will end. You mention umbilical ports and nodal points, trying to remember the details of the things Jean-Mi asks you to retrieve. Seraphim grows pale and silent. He shakes his head when you stop talking. Lane, he frowns. That piece of shit has to be behind this. Perhaps. For sure. Seraphim looks stubbornly at the floor. We'll get what you need. We'll find that ship mine, he nods. A bit of work here and there, and we can make it the Helion Gate and wherever else. What about your stuff? We'll do that too, he thumps the wall. We're free, Sleeper. No one can stop us. Just say the word, okay? He goes quiet. Don't give up on yourself just yet, he smiles. Get up and get back to it. And with that, he turns and kicks off down the corridor, disappearing from sight. You wait a little bit, staring at the stained ceiling of the bunks, letting the thoughts settle in your mind. And then, when you're ready, you get up and leave, dazed but with a stony determination growing in your chest. Oh my god, this game is fucking awesome. Okay. Flotsam maintenance, flotsam integration, engine components. Jean-Mi's booth. Prime ship mind is what he needs. Hold the Kahe. This is where we get. We can work the hydroponics, and then we can go out and get to work. No crew here, so we'll stay with Yujin and Bliss. We've got that stranded rig. -3? Oh yeah, the hunt. I was like, what the fuck are you... -3 the hunt? And then I was like, oh, that's what it means. No matter what way you split it with Yujin, it is useful to have a big mercenary man on your side. Keep your hands where I can see them. The voice crackles over the open comms channel of your suit comms as you near the stranded rig. You slow your approach a little and move towards the ship, its shape lumpy and skeletal in the distant light of the sun. A warm welcome. Bodes well for the rest of the job. Bliss shoots you a concerned look. It's about to be like fucking Ankita. Watch. I don't know. I think it said a name, and I think I would have noticed, but I doubt it's anything. You look up to the stranded ship ahead. Clearly, they are feeling a bit exposed. We're here to help. Well, I figured that, the voice retorts. Otherwise, I would have pulled a hole in that shiny rig of yours already. You arrive at the side of the rig, inspecting the damage as you do. Half the hull plating and big chunks of the internal structure seem to be missing. You have a feeling that this is not what you were here to fix. The airlock opens and you move inside. The interior are all exposed wires and metal framework. The system wheezes and shudders as it cycles. Alma. Ooh. Grouchy old lady. Nothing of value here, so if you're looking to steal something, you're welcome to it. Alma greets you plainly inside the rig. You do the work that's needed, and I'll let you take your half of the haul. Understood? Well, alright then. His face is placid and unchanging as a rock. Here's the short of it. Engine's conked out on me, and I'm no engineer. Can usually get it going. This time, no dice. She looks between you and the rest of the crew. Surprised there's so many of you, to be honest. Bliss smiles sympathetically. Sorry about that. But don't worry, I've worked on these engines before. They give Alma a wink. I can handle this. Don't be so sure. Alma leads you towards the engine room. The layout of her rig must be the same as yours. This girl is the sensitive type. You need to know her to handle her. The central corridor of the ship snakes in a way that isn't familiar to you, and you realize the rig is far more heavily modified than your own, something that becomes all the more obvious when you arrive in the engine room. Rather than the rig's stock engine, a single block and double turbine with feed lines between. Alma's engine is a mess of piping and feed lines, linking up multiple rock components welded to the interior frame of the room. Your eyes widen at the sight. Been adding to her ever since I was young. Alma smiles at the chaos. Might look like a mess, but she purrs when she's running. Bliss is shaking their head slowly. Oh, sleeper, they let out a puff of air. This is going to be special. You struggle to tell if they are intimidated or impressed. Perhaps it's a little of both. That's about all of it. Alma gestures at the exploded engine. Get it running and get your half of the haul. What's the haul? Alma glides over the window set in the engine room and points to the corroded remains of the facility deep set in the asteroid's loose, dusty surface. That's the haul. She taps the glass. As good as fine as I've ever seen. The hull is a building? Building and what's in it? Alma screws up her face. Yeah. What, you too good for scrapping? By rights, the building's mine. Scrapper's claim. Alma scratches at her mess of hair. But you help me get her running, and you're welcome to take what you want from it. Up to a maximum of 50% of raw mass, that is. We have to extract it ourselves? She looks at you up and down, and you feel a first acknowledgement of you being a sleeper. I doubt it'll trouble one of you. I didn't like that. Anyway, you're leaving with nothing unless my girl back here is in shape by the time you're done. She folds her arm on her chest, so get to it. You turn back to the engine, your eyes tracing the madness of interlocking systems. You're starting to have a horrible feeling that this contract is some kind of elaborate joke. +3 to lowest crew dice. So yeah, that'd be... Oh. Thank you, Eugen. Yeah, we'll get her done. That's okay, Eugen, that's fine. Do some time scrapping. Oh, wait, we still have something for... That's not what I meant to do. Because that's +1 stress, +1 of the lowest crew dice. Yeah, fuck it, let's push. Because I can do that once, right? I think so. Whatever. End of the cycle. Supplied. No energy loss, baby. Ooh, Eugen got some fucking good-ass rolls. Holy shit. Oh, let's use one of my 4s. Or... Hey, good job. I don't even care. Bliss got it. You all gather in Alma's rigs to see the engines tested. The engine room purrs and chitters. It seems to warm with the sound of the engine, with the polyrhythmic vibrations that rattle through the open framework of the interior. You look over to Alma and see her eyes are closed, a small tremble at the corner of her mouth. You look at the engine, Alma's engine, an object that you have come to respect over the past cycles, even if you haven't necessarily grown to love it. It is, as you see it now, a difficult thing to love. Whole parts of it make little sense, and its oldest systems, those now bypassed and made obsolete by newer additions, still somehow play an integral role you don't understand. It is unwieldy and unnecessarily so. The accumulation of parts and patches from its long service makes it surprisingly fragile. Meanwhile, other sections have been welded and re-welded so many times that they are impregnable and will never be able to replace. It is uncooperative and prone to sudden outbursts of cooling fluid or even fuel. It is restless and will begin to leak when left idle for too long. It is always too cold or too hot thanks to the coolant, the fuel. And it is hard to predict which it will be at any given moment. God, that's awful. And yet, despite all of this, as an object you feel close to, you feel a kinship with, because in the end, you too are an accumulation of broken parts, long outliving their operational limits. You too are a machine that has become a story, and a story that has grown beyond the ability of others to understand it. You look over to Alma, and Bliss is there beside her. You can see they are talking, but with the engine running, you cannot hear them. You watch for a moment, Bliss now patiently listening as, in faltering words, Alma explains something to them. Bliss nods, and then suddenly they embrace, gently and with care. Bliss pushes back, and soon as the moment has passed, it seems like it might not have happened at all. Nothing in the two's figures to attitude betray the act, and the room seems unchanged. You try to remember if you have seen them speaking before now, but you recall there are many moments when you were not with Bliss. As you watch Alma approach, you realize that the engine is not special to you, and that between her and Bliss, it might have been a bridge to a unique kind of respect. That's the job, Sleeper. Alma approaches you from the other side of the room, and you know where the payment is to be found. I believe that brings our business to an end. Alma scratches at her hair. Unless you have something to add. That's all. Fine then, she sniffs. Appreciate the assistance. You're welcome to take what you want from the hangar. If you haven't already, you see a knowing shimmer in her eyes. Now I must kindly ask you to leave my ship. As the airlock cycles, you look across at Bliss and swear you see a tear in her eye. What Alma say? Bliss turns to you as if they forgot you were there. She just reminded me of why I do what I do, why I fix things. They look ahead. There's beauty in it. You find yourself drifting away from Alma's rig in the haze of thoughts. It's clear to you at this point that Alma's history is written all over the place. But more than that, well, you can't be sure. This story, it seems, isn't for you. You realize as you gaze at the broken remains of the facility that Alma never took any of her half of the haul. You turn back and squint at the cockpit of her rig. You see her there, looking out across the wasteland, still as a statue. It's an image that, as you load into the rig and begin its preparations to depart, will stick with you. One that every time you enter the engine room of your ship, a room almost identical to the engine room of Alma's rig, will leap in your mind. A woman floating above the wreck of what was once her home, looking for a reason to keep going. Damn. Yeah, I know you're not sure this is for you, Eugen. Damn it, Eugen. Please, I'm begging you. Lock in. You rest a moment, taking a break from the dragging the plates you've cut across the asteroid's surface. You find yourself looking up towards Alma's rig still there at the edge of the crater and wonder if she's watching. With her engine fixed, you half expected her to leave immediately. She remains there on the horizon, unable to leave this place. As in response, your comms channel buzzes. Nice pile you got there, Alma announces herself on the open channel. We'll make scrappers of you kids yet. That scrap will earn you a pretty penny if you know what you're doing, she continues. Holmes Rock's always been a good place to offload. I'll give you that for free. You look at the stack of ragged, torch-cut plates as they are loaded up onto the rig's cargo hold. You have to admit that you do feel a little pride at the work you've done. Thanks. You earned it. You glance over your shoulder at the cockpit of Alma's rig where you can see her watching. What is this place? There's a click on the open channel as it closes, and Alma seems to take a moment to consider her response. She clears her throat. How about you tell me what you think, Sleeper? Solheim facility? Alma coughs and sputters. Oh, hell no, this place ain't old enough or solid enough to be from before the collapse, she sighs. Plus, those old culprit types preferred much grander projects than a tin pot hanger on a dusty rock. Alma goes quiet for a moment, but you wait, getting the feeling that there's more to be said. See the old arrays on the far side? You turn and look at up at the rock towards the broken frames and panels you can just make out in the dust, catching the sun's weak light. Those were the first priority. Get power running, recharge the cells for the excavators, the welders. Turn the scrap into something livable. She falters and coughs. Look at them now. You see the tumble-down collection of panels. They look like they were scattered by a careless hand, discarded without much thought. Comms channel clicks off, and you see the distant silhouette of Alma drift from view out of the cockpit of her rig. You turn back to see that the scrap has been loaded into the ship. You are half of the haul, though you suspect this place is more than just a haul to Alma. End the cycle. I want those hidden treasures. I know they're here. Come on, Eugene. Damn it. Okay. Well, you know what? We're gonna do a push, and come on, Bliss. Fuck. Come on, just a neutral. Hey, that's crazy, dude. Band. Come on, neutral. God, we are getting stressed. God, we are getting stressed. Come on, neutral. These 50-50s really are not going out in my favor. There we go. I'm full stressed now, though. There is a hiss and a rush of stale air at the sealed bay, deep inside the facility's tunnels. Opens for the first time in years. The beams of your suit lamps reach into the dark, picking out waves of dust and debris. They reveal a small bay, big enough for a shuttle, but not a rig like yours. As you glide inside, the same beams catch out in the frame of something that sits at the center of the bay. It is wide and flat, with a cylindrical central section that runs its length. As you move around it, looking at the sections of the plates and open the frame, you realize it is a ship. Or at least it was. The frame, filled with rusted components and partially covered with little hull plates, suggests a fast ship, an arrowhead designed to cut through debris and even atmosphere. You float up a little to see its central cylinder, and two lamps reveal a cockpit outfitted for two people. One sat behind the other. The seats are carefully upholstered, and you realize this was a labor of love. The whole ship, in fact, seemed to be built by hand, a custom model with little function out here beyond looping around asteroids for the thrill of it. Looking closer, brushing away the surface of corrosion, you see flames painted on the hull plates in curling patterns, the brushstrokes visible even after what must be many years. As you inspect the half-finished ship, a sense of quiet wonder keeping you silent, you notice a glint towards its rear. You approach it and see an engine, all interlocking tubes and flared vents. It is unlike any you've ever seen, but the holes in its sides suggest it may have never been finished. Those holes are the source of the glint. You reach in and pull out some strange-looking engine components, each pristine and complex. You hesitate for a moment, suddenly feeling like you shouldn't be disturbing such an intimate object. It occurs to you that nothing would please the person who built the ship more than seeing these handmade components put to use. You secure them to your suit and push away from the ship. As you leave the bay, you turn and take one last look at the treasure inside. It is possible that it never flew. Perhaps it was in the middle of an extensive refit when this place was abandoned. Either way, its flying years have long since passed, and now, with the bay open, it will corrode much faster, melding with the atomized scrap of this place in mere cycles. You suppress a shiver, and then start the journey back up to the surface, aware of the components dangling at your side. Let's get the fuck out of here. Do some dice repair, fuel up, and then keep moving. Is there work for me to do here? Can buy a meal. Yeah, I can work the hydroponics, that's right. Yeah, this is where I get fuel and such. Keep working the hydroponics. All on supplies. Fill on fuel, and let's get out of here. Go to Holmes Rock. It's an asteroid colony. Go to Helion Gate. Not gonna be a lot of fuel at Helion Gate. At least I don't imagine so. Let's go to Holmes Rock. Sleeper? Bliss speaks quietly from the door at the back of the cockpit. Can we talk? Glance over at Seraphin, his head back and his eyes closed while the rig cuts through empty space. You don't seem to be needed here. You unclip from your harness and follow Bliss. How are you doing? Bliss glances over their shoulder as they drift towards the back of the ship. The question takes you aback. Can't remember the last time that anybody actually asked with real intention how you are. Feeling rough. Feeling rough. They'll shoot you a concerned look. To be honest, Sleeper, I'm not sure how you're still standing. Breaking out of Darkside, then again in Hexport, those things take a toll. Bliss turns a corner. So I think it's okay to feel rough right now. Bliss leads you off the main corridor into the workshop. They've set up when they repaired the ship. It is small, but its neatly arranged tools and sloped walls help it feel cozy and tuck it away. You see improvements everywhere, new tools and equipment. Bliss notices you looking at their upgraded setup. I told you I'd be worth taking along. Never doubted it. Bliss raises an eyebrow. Well, that's a lie. They smile. Feels good to hear, though. I never doubted it. Anyways, I didn't bring you here just to brag. They pause. Or at least, not just to brag. They suddenly glance away, the atmosphere in the room shifting. I can see your body is showing the strain, Sleeper. I brought you here so we could do something about that. They beckon you towards the workbench where you both settle onto stools. They flick on a small light and aim it at your arm. Let them look. Bliss gently cradles your arm, turning it to inspect the underside. You see tears and holes in the vinyl skin and dark moving things beneath. You look as Bliss brings the light closer to the biggest tear, and it glints off the metallic tendons in your forearm. Below them, you see something more fluid and wet catching the light. You know, you weren't the first Sleeper I've met. Bliss talks while they inspect the rest of your arm. I actually partnered with one of my own repair bay on the eye. Feels like 100,000 cycles ago now, but I remember them. Their precise work, their quiet enthusiasm. There was something charming about their presence. Calming, not charming. Bliss swaps to your other arm. They were different to you. Just like one is different to another, I suppose. But I can't help but remember that time. I was a different person then, that's for sure. They meet your eye. I'm going through something of a transformation yourself. What do you mean? Bliss lays both your arms and leans forward to inspect your upper chest, adjusting to the light. I was pretending before, I think, to be the person I was expected to be. They press along the hard protrusion to your clavicle. There were so many calculations I was making, so many corrections. How I held myself, how I spoke, how I reacted. They pushed gently against each of your metallic ribs, one at a time. I didn't realize how tired I was until they stop and sit back. Until I gave up. I came here to the belt with someone else, and when I did, I realized this was my chance to become something new. So I let go of everything. They look away. It was messy, ugly, and the person I came here with, I let them go. I was punching out at everything because it felt like everything was holding me back, stopping me for the change I was owed. Good, because you came here with Ankita, and Ankita sucks. Don't worry. I smile weakly. I'm calmer now. I'm not about to explode on you or anything. It's still a difficult process, but it feels like shedding 100 suffocating skins that you spent half your life putting on, one by one. They meet your eye. It feels like an escape. They lean forward again and check the skin on your shoulders where it is worn and faded. You let them, the atmosphere of quiet calm in the workshop. A feeling of solidarity growing somewhere in your frame, glowing somewhere in your frame. Not bad, Sleeper. You're holding up well, giving everything. Bliss folds their arm in front of them protectively, but I'm still concerned. There's some decline to your system functions. Let's keep an eye out for components. Thank you, Bliss. It's no problem. They release from the stool, drift over the rack of tools. I owe you for jolting me out of whatever my life had become on the far spindle. You leave Bliss to their workshop, feeling reassured that you have them here on the ship. As you do, you think of your relationship to your own body, this frame that you were forced into that has never quite felt like your own. You realize that this feeling is not unique to you. No one gets to choose their body. Everyone has to contend with the entropy of their flesh. And in that realization, you suddenly feel less alone. Lumpen and cratered, Holmes Rock floats on the sunward side of the belt. Its only noticeable feature, the bright shapes of its solar arrays angled towards the system's distant star. Can't even dock the rig here, Seraphin nods at the bright shape of the Holmes Rock lone docking bay. Won't fit. We'll have to park here and go out the airlock. He seems repulsed by the idea. We do that every contract. You do that every contract. Seraphin leans back into his seat. I've got used to sitting them out. You fucking loser. Barely seems worth the trip down. Bliss speaks up from the back of the cockpit. You never know. I guess, Bliss yawns, but don't expect to turn up any jobs all the way out here. I'll come down later. Don't feel like squeezing into a suit right now. Bliss gives a lazy wave as they glide out of the cockpit. Eugene pokes his head into the cockpit. That rock down there got a bar? He looks between you and Seraphin. No idea, Seraphin sighed. Looks dead. Eugene squints out of the cockpit window. I see a few warm lights, he shrugs. I bet there's a bar. He disappears in the direction of an airlock. I can't help but like Eugene. He doesn't seem like that. He's just a little dumb. He doesn't seem like that bad of a guy. He just seems fucking dumb. You gaze out over Holmes Rock. It certainly doesn't seem very exciting, but there's refueling to be done. Maybe more besides. You might even be able to scare up a hot meal. You know, Sleeper, that Lotric freighter means we aren't far from Wellspring. Seraphin gives you a sideways glance. We'll get there, don't worry. Just making sure you haven't forgotten, he smiles. I heard the pressure of war in the inner system is having an effect on how the Lotric Syndicate is being run. Just want to get there before something big goes down. He turns back to the console. You look out at the Lotric fighter, painted the same distinctive yellow as the spring tide back on the far spindle. You heard that they supply most of the water in the belt, not exactly an organization you want to collapse. A light catches your eye beyond the rock, a warm flash that is gone as soon as it appears. You are at the sunward edge here, and beyond is the inner system. Holmes Rock might look sleepy, but it lies on the shores of a corporate war, something residents will be painfully aware of. Fucking explore the tunnels. No place like home. We endure. What do we get from this? In Holmes Rock, it's impossible to get away from the feeling of living, working, and eating in a ruin. Most of the belt is built on top of remains of Solheim's infrastructure, but there are plenty of places where the modifications or extensions to those structures eclipse the original foundation. In Holmes Rock, it is the reverse. The station is a small warm patch at the center of a network of tunnels and bays that stretch within the rock, most of them dark, damp, and wrecked, a sprawling foundation that will never be built upon. Every so often, gliding on your way between Senna's Rest and the Suncashers, or from the docks of the depot, you find yourself in one of these dark tunnels. That's where you are now. You float, stopped at a four-way intersection, no light visible down any tunnel. Go straight ahead. You drift straight ahead, through a tunnel where loose wires wave in the dark. On either side, tiny lights occasionally blink, signs of a ghost network still running in these walls. You arrive on another intersection with crooked passages leading way into the dark. Go left. You kick off gently from the wall and head into a cylindrical passage clad with panels that hold back the rock. It is wider than the others, and here there are little droplets of water that float undisturbed. At the far end, you see a faint point of light, the warm glow of a lit passage. Suddenly, you hear a rustling in the dark and a shrill sound that you can't place. There's something out there. Rush through! You kick off hard and glide through the tunnel, feeling a few droplets of water gently splatter on your skin. You shake off the feeling as you move. The dark doesn't scare you. Then it hits you, something solid and meaty slamming into your stomach and spinning away. Press off the wall and push on as a shrill wail echoes behind you in the dark. What the hell was that? When you reach the lit passage beyond, you turn back, but the tunnel is silent and still. You continue on, but can't shake the feeling of being followed as you ascend back up through the station. Perhaps next time you'll take a different route. Sealed bay. We can unseal that bay. Print component. There's a failed old Neovent printer in the bay. Feeding it data should authorize the component. Oh, okay. So, interesting. Send rest, buy supplies, buy a meal, sell engine components. Low-tech freighter, they can help us fill our fuel. We can do that. The sun catchers, debug array systems, we can sell our raw scrap, fix broken arrays. Doesn't seem like there's a lot for us here, to be honest. So let's hit the wellspring. That's for our buddy Seraphim. It's important. It's important to him. Seraphim, the shout echoes through the ship, reaching you in the cockpit. You see the angle of Seraphin's head change, but he does not respond otherwise. Did you hear that? Seraphim sighs. Yes, I heard. He looks back at you. How about you go see what they want? They called you! Seraphim shrugs. I'm busy flying the ship. Seraphim! You recognize the voice now. It's Bliss. Moments later, they come into the cockpit. Is no one listening? They look between the two of you. I guess that means one of you is guilty. Bliss shakes their head. Come on, you need to see this. You follow the irritated Bliss through the ship down to the cramped storage units tucked between the main hull and the hull. As you enter, you are greeted by total chaos. Amber globs of liquid ration float in the air and cling to the walls, while chunks of dried food spin slowly, breaking into crumbs. See, Bliss fumes, someone opened up one of the supply crates and left it like this. They point to a crate in storage, netting with the lid pushed open. Our supplies are one down now. You look at the mess spilling out from the crate. Who could have done this? Neutral? Fuck! You start trying to pick through the food in torn packets, but there's too much to take in. You pick up a chunk in Raffen bar and sniff it. Bliss gives you a side legs look. What are you doing? Bliss puffs out their cheeks. I need a break from this ship. They look at you. Let me tidy this up. You spend the rest of the journey packing the crates away and disposing of the spoiled supplies. But as you do, you can't help but wonder what actually happened here. When you're finished, you take one last look around the storage bay, and you gaze around the now cleared space. You have the same feeling of being observed by unseen eyes as you felt in the tunnels of Holmes Rock. Do we have a stowaway? Do we have a stowaway? As he brings the ship into the Wellspring's docking ring, you notice a rare tension in Seraphim's piloting. He jerks the stick a little too hard while the docking bridge extends, and a proximity alarm goes off. He curses under his breath. Relax. Be okay. I've docked this ship 100 times, Sleeper. He keeps his eye on the monitors. I am relaxed. That's not what I mean. Seraphim doesn't respond, but you see him grip the rig's controls a little tighter. As the ship stops, the docking bridge connected, you lean forward and look out of the cockpit windows, trying to get a good view of the icy surface of the wellspring below. The harsh, gleaming ice gives way to the steep sides of the asteroid's one city. It glows and steams with warmth, and peering down into it, you cannot see the bottom. Beyond, along the horizon, you see terraces of the pithead, where the current extraction effort must be taking place. Seraphim runs the shutdown sequence, and unclips from his seat. He turns back to you, a flinty look in his eye. I'm going to head down to the cut. I've got a few leads to follow up on. You get the sense that he isn't asking for permission. Let me help. You can check the city out if you want, but I'm not following along, Sleeper. It's my trail to follow. Before you can respond, he pushes back and glides out the cockpit. You turn and watch as he pushes past Bliss in the doorway. I missed something? Bliss shoots you a look. He seems even more irritable than usual. It's his business. Fair enough, Bliss sighs. Looks like a stopover at the wellspring for a bit then. They zip their jacket. I'll be in the markets. At least Lane's unlikely to come out here and pick a fight with the Logic Syndicate, Bliss shrugs. They turn and head towards the airlock, whistling softly as they do. Eugen comes out a side door as Bliss passes. He stretches and squints at you. Permission to find a bar down there? He grins. Just joking, I know I don't need to ask. He winks and follows Bliss. Wellspring, the base of the Logic Syndicate. As you look out across its icy surface, you remember Malik, the captain whose ship you saved, and for whom you surveyed the ice asteroid. You also remember how he promised to repay your actions should you ever cross paths again. Perhaps Wellspring is a good place for you to make that happen. After all, if Seraphin's sister is here, surely the Logic Syndicate would be the best place to find her. That's not a bad... You know what, Sleeper? I like your dots. Oh... Act like a local. In the cut. No, dude, fuck. The Cutwater. A Cutwater shift? The Logic Depot. Okay, give us one moment, we'll be back in like 5 minutes. Apologies for that sudden departure, but we are returned. My mic is working, right? We're Audible, audible.com. That's everything we need. Okay. We're good. Let's get back to it. This place kind of big as fuck. Holy shit. Do a shift there. I don't suppose there's an endure thing here, is there? Oh no, you need a Lotic pass. End the cycle. Ugh. Go to the frickin' workshop, get some repairs done. Just doing negative. Hey! Amazing to think that this place supplies most of the belt's water. Bliss looks across the cut water at the workers in their distinctive yellow gear. No wonder the syndicate runs it like a corporation. You look at those gathered in the ceiling-hinged bar around the cushioned couches and low magnetic tables, their voices bouncing off the metal walls. All of them wear loaded clothing, a mark of their status as contractors for the belt's most powerful syndicate. At the far side of the bar, you spot Eugen, perched at a magnetic table with a bunch of miners. He appears to be playing some kind of local dice game, although given the amount of alcohol involved, it's hard to tell if gambling or drinking is the focus. You look to Bliss, who is watching another group quietly discussing something serious in the opposite corner. Lotic gets the job done. Bliss turns back to the bar and sips their drink through its metal straw. Well, that's a thing. I've been looking around Chasm Row, searching out components in the markets down there. People don't seem so happy. Bliss meets your eye. There's a lot of talk of contracts. It seems Lotic's been locking down its workers, giving the war in the inner system as an excuse. They play with their metal straws, swirling orbs of liquid in their sealed glass. The pressure is building, Sleeper. We shouldn't hang around here much longer, they sigh. We need to give Seraphim time. Well, Bliss raises an eyebrow. It sounds like I'm not the only outsider who's been hanging out in Chasm Row. I heard someone complaining about a rude young man asking too many questions. Bliss smiles. What else could that be? They laugh. That's the place to start if you want to find our boy. They said he was asking about the rhyme market. I have no idea what that is. Bliss looks out across the bar. Definitely a touchy subject for locals, though. I'll head there now. Bliss nods. I'll finish my drink. They smile. Let me know how it goes. You leave the Cutwater, shouldering your way through a crowd of boisterous contractors. There's a conspiratorial mood to the conversations now that Bliss has mentioned it, and you wonder what all the talk is about. You hear a bellowing laugh from Eugen as you slip out the door. Better leave him to it. You feel the sudden cold as you leave the steaming bar and enter one of the icy passages cut into the asteroid itself. All this water in the hands of a single syndicate. If something goes wrong here, the belt will die of thirst long before the war reaches it. You turn up the collar of your jacket against the cold and head for the Chasm Row. Chasm Row. The things I do for my friends. Supplies. Is this fuel? Yep, I can fuel up here. Fuel is always very important. Source some supplies, well, yeah. Fucking glitched and another one fucking broke. Yeah, I think that might be because of energy. If I keep my energy higher, I have less of a problem with these things. Pepper stews, huh? Fuck it. Just gotta get that glitch out of my fucking system. Oh my god, it's a positive with a glitch. Let's go. The market of Chasm Row have become familiar in the past cycles. Their steaming orange lit depths, the persistent condensation on each unit's window is the gleam of the amber workers' suits, each contributing to the particular atmosphere of this buried city. But among this, you have noticed other details too. The freelance crews on the hunt for illicit tech, the conversing workers who drop to whisper when you pass, the light flickering up the floor grids suggesting deeper layers. There are the details that you have followed to the Rhyme Market, a place discussed in hushed tones in dimly lit rooms, and as you drift towards what you know to be one of its entrances, the door bursts open in front of you. A large, dark bundle glides out of the door and impacts the metal wall of the passage with an echoing bang, but your eyes are drawn by the imposing figure that hovers in the doorway, bracing himself on the frame. Kirk? Stay out of the Rhyme Market, rat. The man spends an orb of spit spinning after the bundle. The bundle unfolds and you suddenly recognize Seraphim, winded but straightening up to go back for more. Okay, stop him. Stop him. You rush up in front of Seraphim, and as you do, he tries to kick off from the wall, back into the fight. You block him, and he suddenly switches his angry glare on you. Stay out of this, sleeper. Stop this. Know when you're beaten, rat, the man calls out. It's time for you to go home and lick your wounds. Seraphim exhales in frustration, his anger fading, replaced by the stinging pain of all his injuries. You watch a perfectly round blob of blood form at the bottom of his nose. Want to explain what's happening, Seraphim? For the record, the man unfolds his arm. This one started it. He looks between the two of you, snooping around our meetings like a rat. You see his sharp eyes recalculating the situation since your arrival. I wasn't snooping, I'm looking for someone, Seraphim claims. Taking a minute to talk to me before throwing a punch, maybe you would have got that. The man scratches his beard, squinting at Seraphim. So I believe you. What were you doing at the meeting then? Missing persons ain't our business. All I heard is that this is where local contractors meet. I don't like you hearing that, not at all. I'm gonna need to ask who told you that later. He straightens up. But yeah, this is where the contract meets, as if that's anything to you. The person I'm looking for is a contractor. Seraphim's frustration rises again. She uses the cover named Luz. He pauses, a desperation entering his voice. Please, I think she might be my sister. Something changes in the man's stance. He holds a massive hand to silence Seraphim, looks down the passage in both directions. Not here. He retreats through the door. Get in. Both of you enter, he reaches past you and slams the metal door behind, spinning the locking wheel with one hand. I'm Kirk, he grunts, pointing himself with a thick thumb. Contractors are my concern, but if Lot did catch us discussing contracts out here, he shakes his head. He turns and leads you down a passage. You pass an open door and glance inside to see a group gathered in a circle. All of them in workers' clothes. They're speaking in hushed voices. One of them exchanges a nod with Kirk. It's not our meeting anymore, shall we? He glares playfully at Seraphim, who remains silent. Kirk leads you up to the side with a massive vertical metal pipe with a rough hole cut in the side. He beckons you both inside. You descend through the pipe in silence and in darkness. Suddenly, you come out through the ceiling of a wide and low hall. As far as you can see, crooked stalls and makeshift shelters dot the grilled floor, lit by scavenged lanterns and light strips. Steam drifts up through the grates, concealing the room so that you cannot see the walls. Welcome to the Rhyme Market, Kirk gestures, a thick hand at the ramshackle interior. Lodic don't know about this place, he smiles. Let's get a drink. He leads you off to a nearby stall with a set of improvised stools welded to the floor in the front. He hooks his legs onto one, and you and Seraphim follow suit. He holds his 3 fingers to the owner, and a drink and a straw and a pierced packet is handed to each of you. Seraphim looks skeptically at the drink. Friends now or something? Look, Kirk takes a sip. I'm not going to apologize for putting you on your arse. That's on you. But like I said, I represent the contractors, and if someone is part of the family, well, he shrugs his massive shoulders, they deserve to be holed out at least. Know who we're looking for? Luz, he said. I know a Luz, sure. Describe her. Kirk leans back on the stool. I'm not giving you anything more until you prove she's your sister. Seraphim closes his eyes. Dark hair. Used to wear long and messy. Bright eyes, broad shoulders. You see a little twitch around his eyes as he recalls. Tough but kind. Tattoos. A nervous laugh. He opens his eyes and glares at Kirk. Had enough? Kirk sniffs. Yeah, that's her. You feel something jump in Seraph, an almost imperceptible tension rising. It's her, his sister. Luz, Kirk speaks slowly, drinking between. Whatever her real name is one of the contractors here. She's part of the most recent contracts with loaded registers. That means... Just tell me where she is, Seraphim demands, his impatience getting the better of him. As I was saying, Kirk gives Seraphim a pointed look. Those new contractors are restricted to the pit head. In fact, that is what we were discussing when you interrupted our meeting. Seraphim looks away in frustration but holds his tongue. Since the war, the Loaded Syndicate has been trying to lock down the Wellspring. They went from a loose association of mining groups to an autocracy. They started enforcing contracts with some seriously overreaching terms. Your sister, she's on one of those contracts. Lodig are acting like they own her, and the others, because according to their contracts, they do. Which is exactly what we want to do. Which is exactly what we want to do something about. This cycle. He's forcefully tapping the bar with a finger. We are voting on a strike action and a full blockade of Flotsam. We will bring the Syndicate to the table. Seraphim knocks his drink away and kicks off the table distant from the market. Gotta go after him. You catch up with Seraphim in the bustle of the Ryan market and go on the scene in the crowds. I can't be the only one who saw his pitch coming a mile off, Seraphim is bristling with anger. What kind of idiots does he think we are? You should go back. No way, Seraphim glares at you. You heard the guy. He was about to recruit us for his great crusade against the Syndicate. Seraphim starts to push through the crowd towards the exit tunnel. I'm no one's tool, and you shouldn't be either, Sleeper. He shoves his way forward. We don't need to get tied up in this. We just need to get her out. Seraphim forges on ahead, and you get caught in the crowd behind him, and he disappears from view. A heavy hand falls on your back. I want to help you, Sleeper. Kirk's bright eyes meet yours. The Syndicate will do nothing for him, or for you, trust me. But I need your help in return. Kirk sighs. I want to help. Good, Kirk nods. I knew you would. Kirk places a plastic passage into your hand. It glints with the mark of the Loaded Syndicate, a blurry ID photo laminated into its transparent interior. This will get you into the pit head. You can see for yourself what's happening there. Don't follow your friend to Lodic. Go to Pithead. Find Luz yourself. He meets your eye. When you do, come back to me and we can discuss how to free her and everyone else like her. If you go to Lodic, if you meet with them, I can't help you. He releases your forearm and drifts back into the crowd, disappearing into the steam and darkness. You float there for a moment, buffeted by passing people, clutching onto the Lodic path, trying to decide what to do next. I hate to say that they are people, and I can't... I'm not just gonna lead, like, we can't just... No. They're people. We don't need it. We're going to the pit head. Pithead Canteen is where we eat. Off. That's kind of funny. Oh, I can work. Oh, working is what I do. Does that line through it mean? Interesting. Oh, none energy for me. I am starving. I need to eat. Hey, that works. We're starting to run low on cryo. You guys can keep doing odd jobs for me, please. I'd appreciate that. Fuck me. One breaks like every cycle. Does this one have like a line through it? Why is that one all fucky? Shaft descends toward a sump in the depths of the pit. Here the air is freezing cold to prevent the ice from melting into globules of floating water. If your breath carried water, you would be able to see it in the air. The absence of steam in each exhalation only serves to remind you of your own strangeness. Not that anybody else notices. The workers' heads are low, their eyes fixed on their work, shuttling chunks of ice and tools up and down the shaft. At the end of the nearby tunnels, you see the bright sparks of ice cutting in progress. Slabs hanging in the air in that strange way that they do in Zero-G. Some loose memories of the time before Darkseid, before Lane, before freedom come to your mind. The familiarity of the cold, the sparks, the endless toil. It chills you more than the packed ice on either side if you ever could. You reach the bottom of the shaft, a metal grill marking the terminus. It squeals as you push open the barred door set into it, and safety lights flicker on, lighting up glittering ice particles all around you in their hard beams. It is as if all the stars are held there in this cavern. As your eyes adjust, the massive space comes into focus. It seems to have no up or down, just countless dark shafts and terrace pits cut into the side. All around, silhouetted by their work lights, contractors cut and haul and gather. This is where those locked-in workers are being held, caught in a contract clause that permits an endless shift. The atmosphere is grim. At the center of the cavern floats a construction of welded-together habitation units. A heavy twist of cables stretches from this improvised structure past you and up the shaft beyond. Behind, tethering it to a central power source. On each of the 6 sides of the strange apartment block, a set of struts project outwards, bracing the construction against the cavern wall. The block itself is wrapped in insulation, clad in protective plates. It glows with small apertures and lights. You approach the nearest entrance. Everything is bitten by rust, by decay. If the bars on the entrance weren't a clear enough indicator, it is obvious now that this place is a prison. The doors scissor open, letting out a blast of warm air. You quickly duck inside, and it seals rapidly behind you. The cramped interior passage glows warmly, but its ragged condition keeps it from feeling cozy. You follow the corridor, ducking beneath hanging wires and loose insulation. This is where you were told you will find Luz, or whatever her real name is. You come into a communal mess. Counters and food preparations units fit into the walls, cushioned stools and couches scattered around. A couple of contractors are stretched out in the space. One of them is snoring loudly in the corner, another sipping from a food packet on a stool. Suddenly, a door on the far side opens to a cavern, letting a flurry of ice shards that quickly become scattered orbs of water. You watch the figure as they glide into the warm light of the interior with their dark hair and bright eyes, and you know this is who you're looking for. You meet their eyes with theirs, and something sparkles in that dull, cloying room, it's as if she recognizes you. Sleeper? She looks away in a haze, her hair stuck to her forehead, with sweat, her eyes still adjusting to the interior. Luz? She nods slowly. You see her scan you, taking in your clothes, the way you hold yourself, your face. For a moment you feel exposed, aware of your damaged vinyl skin, your industrial markings, your doll-like features. You feel the familiar sense of being objectified, but also something warmer below it, a recognition of what you are. She blinks and exhales, and shakes her head, realizing that she is mistaken. Give me a sec, alright? I just finished cutting 100 cubic meters of ice. She pulls back her head. Haven't seen you down here before. They just contract you or something? The tension drops, but you get the feeling she isn't quite looking at you. She looks... You know who she looks like? She almost looks like Mina. She crosses to a food unit and pulls out a packet, slotting it into a warmer. She thumbs it on. First sleeper I've seen in a long while. She doesn't take her eyes off the slowly warming food. You'll do okay down here. I know you folks are tough and stick with the job. That's good. The rest I can show you once I've eaten. She laughs a little to herself. I'm with your brother. My brother? She pauses, her eyes not leaving the warmer. I think you have confused with someone else. You're not listening. She turns to face you, and you see a wet shine in her eyes. What are you going on about? You realize what you need to tell her. Seraphin is on Wellspring. The warmer chimes to let her know the food packet is ready, but she doesn't seem to notice. Seraphin? She takes a ragged breath and then steadies herself. Here? Not here. At the cut. She nods, then shakes her head. Well, if he trusts you with his name, I guess I should trust you with mine. She comes closer. Oh my god! It's not, I was like, it looks familiar. Why does she look like Mina? It's Tala! I'm Tala. She smiles a warm smile. Now where is my idiot brother? I'll take you to him. She laughs nervously. Sorry, that's not what I was expecting on my lunch break. Tala suddenly glances to take on some energy. She glances towards the corridor behind you, and the door at its end. I sure you hope you have a plan, Sleeper, because they do not want us locked in. They do not want us locked in contractors getting out. She moves towards the corridor. There's security at the shaft, and then again at the pit head. You must have passed through the checkpoint at the entrance, too. I doubt we can bypass all those. She turns back, grabs her food packet, smiles at you, and shepherds you towards the corridor. You could run a distraction, maybe? Or is Sarah on that already? You're slightly taken aback by her sudden charge. We're going to have to. A blaring alarm sounds inside the habitation module, loud enough to wake the sleeping contractor with a start. You and Tala exchange glances. Surely these can't be for you. Tala rushes down the corridor and tears open the door at the far end. With you following close behind, the ice scatters, glittering in the interior light. The cavern is in chaos. Okay, I have to go check that again. Okay. Alright. The cavern is in chaos. You see dark-suited Logic security wrestling with contractors. Lit by flashing red alerts, more contractors are coming in through the door in the grill you entered from, carrying bulky equipment. The equipment is blaring out a voice. Kirk's voice, echoing around the cavern. A look of panic crosses Tala's face. A general strike is now in effect. All contractors should down tools and hold in place. Extraction will cease until our terms are met. Kirk's voice distorts and shifts. We have blockaded all traffic to and from Wellspring. We seek the resignation of the Syndicate's leadership and for a new workers' council to be installed in its place. This cycle, we will shut down the shaft, Any workers not willing to strike should leave now. There is a screech of noise, and the message begins repeating. You watch as the security are pushed back towards the grill, outnumbered by the gathering workers. Tala looks at you for guidance. Now's our chance! Tala looks around the cavern, the red lights reflecting in her wide eyes. She sighs. I need to stay. I won't abandon the others. What about Seraphim? Tell my brother what's happening. Tell him I'm not leaving until all of us are free. Tala backs away, glancing over her shoulder at the others. You see them gathering their tools and taking them to be locked away in the Hab module. I need to see this through, Sleeper, and you need to go. Find Seraphim. Do what you can out there. Help us change this place. And with that, she turns and glides off towards the others. You turn and head for the grill as quickly as you can. The way now cleared by the contractors, the handful of Lotic security pushed back to somewhere near the pit head. As you ascend, other contractors shooting you dark looks as you do. You realize you have to speak with Kirk. You find Kirk at the pit head, directing contractors to barricade the entry points to the mine. So you took my advice. Good, Kirk smiles. Glad to have you as an ally here, Sleeper. You could have warned me. The entirety of Wellspring is at stake here, Kirk shakes his head. This is not about individuals. The Syndicate was arrogant. They did not believe we could do this. Kirk gestures toward the contractors welding plating across the checkpoints. But we far outnumber them. Their monopoly ends here. How can I help? Kirk leads you a little away from the contractors. If you want to free those like Seraphim's sister, I will need your help. We have ships, but not many, and the Syndicate still has tankers in operation. Our blockade is not complete. The debris field between here and the far spindle remains open. We need another tanker to occupy it and dissuade the Syndicate from trying to pass. All of our ships are in use, but your ship and your crew could help us take a tanker and secure the blockade. You want me to storm a tanker? This will not be an assault. Kirk puts hands on your shoulder. The tanker, the Headstream, has been held outside Wellspring for many cycles. The crew is tired and sympathetic to our cause. We'll just give them a nudge. Your ship will pose as an in-distress trader trapped inside a debris field. When the Headstream is obliged to rescue, we will board and encourage the crew to take control. We? Kirk laughs. You think I wouldn't come? I'm key to our success. Kirk folds his arm across his chest. Will you do it? Ooh, worker strike! I will. I knew you would. Glad to have you in our cause. Suddenly, Kirk puts two fingers to his mouth and blasts out a whistle. A contractor quickly appears with a large box in front, marked by screens and dials, and the back by loose cables. You will need this HasNav unit to navigate the debris field? He nods at the contractor. Jens here will install it in your ship. Consider it a gift from our cause to yours. Fuck yeah. He nods once more and Jens passes by you, heading for the lift to the docking ring with your new module. I will provide the Headstream's coordinates. He moves away towards the contractors still working on the checkpoints, and I will wait for your word. You leave the pithead behind, your mind racing. You do not know how you've ended up in the middle of all this, but you know that it will be up to you to pilot your way out. Sleeper, Seraphim comes from the passage towards you. What's happening? I heard the pit has been taken over by Kirk's guys. This, you realize, will take a lot of explaining. Yeah, a little bit. Just a small, just a smidgen, pal. Call it depot shift. Buy a meal. And then we're shipping out to the Headstream. Wow, he's just Eugen, so we're gonna take Bliss. Because he has the exact same things as Eugen. The Headstream looms large in the cockpit windows as it comes to a stop. I can't believe you talked me into this, Seraphim sighs. This is not a good plan. Convincing Seraphim to take Kirk out to this Lotic freighter wasn't exactly easy. With the pithead on lockdown, there really weren't any other options. A voice crackles over Seraphim's terminal, loud enough to hear but quiet enough that you can't pick out what's being said. You risk the urge to ask. The tension in the cockpit is palpable. All of you aware that this ruse could fall apart at any moment. Seraphim, you look behind to see Kirk floating by the doorway. You keep them talking, all right? Seraphim flicks the comm switch and begins speaking to the Lotic ship, thanking them for responding to their distress signal, trying his best to play the part of the nervous trader suffering an engine failure in a debris field. jerks his head for you to follow him into the corridor, and you unclip from your seat and float out behind him. If it's okay with you, I'm going to play the captain on this one. Flint suggests he isn't asking for permission. Is this going to work? Kirk shrugs. If we keep calm and take it slow, there's nothing to worry about. Let me tell you how this is going to go. He starts moving towards the airlock, and you follow as he talks. The headstream has been holding here, cycle after cycle, while Wellspring tried to quash our little rebellion. He smiles at the idea. Now the blockade is in effect. Well, they'll know they have to hold out for longer still, while the message from Lothig operations get less and less frequent. He stops by the lockers, swapping his Lothig uniform for an old flight jacket. This is a ship full of tired, unhappy, underpaid, and underfed workers. We both arrive in the airlock. We just have to nudge their anger in the right direction. There's a hiss at the airlock cycles. Lothig are coming aboard. Kirk catches your eye and gives you a wink. The airlock doors scissor over, revealing a trained Lothig captain flanked by security offers. Lambert, captain of the Headstream, presents himself immediately, with little enthusiasm. We've been in communication with your pilot and our docking, as requested to provide support. He looks between you and Kirk, his eyes lingering on you a little too long, no doubt taking in the strange, final skin, dark glowing eyes, and doll-like face on your frame. He directs his attention to Kirk. Now face your crew. Thank you, Captain. You notice the immediate change in Kirk, his deflated posture and softened speech. We're surviving the best we can. But now that you've come to our rescue, he sighs and holds out an eager hand at Lambert. We're very grateful indeed. Lambert limply shakes Kirk's hand. Not to worry. The Lothig Syndicate takes its stewardship of Wellspring and the surrounding environs very seriously. It's our duty to offer aid to traders and travelers alike. I'm afraid we don't have much to offer by way of supplies. Our stores have been depleted by our long posting here. Your crew is free to enter our ship and make use of its facilities while you make your repairs. Kirk continues playing the submissive captain, nodding enthusiastically and uttering a stream of thank yous. You feel like he's pushing it a little, but Lambert only seems to be paying the minimum amount of attention to him. Suddenly, he turns a sharp eye to you. Your pilot didn't mention you had a sleeper aboard. What of it? Lambert flinches almost imperceptibly when you respond. Nothing at all, just observing. He glances suspiciously towards the corridor. I don't suppose you have any other surprises tucked away in here? Oh no, not at all. Kirk jumps in. Apologies. Our sleeper is a hard worker and a quiet one too. He shoots you a look. Perhaps if your ship is in need of maintenance, you can borrow them for a few cycles. Lambert eyes you more brazenly now. Taking Kirk's lead is permission to indulge his curiosity. Yes, his eyes trace a tear in the thick skin of your forearm. Perhaps it could be of use to us? Kirk smiles. I'll send them to speak with your crew. I am sure they can direct the sleeper to the appropriate tasks. Oh, they'd love that, Lambert jokes. They're a work-shy bunch, this lot. I'm sure they'd be eager for a slave. The word sets you on edge. We're happy to serve, Kirk bows. After all, we owe you our safety. Very good. Lambert seems suddenly bored or tired, or perhaps both. Tell your crew to they're free to use the docking tunnel then. He pauses. Remind them that no funny business will be tolerated. He smiles a sharp smile. I have other matters to attend to, Lambert turns. See you later, Captain. And with that, Lambert heads back to the tunnel, still flanked by his two silent security officers. Kirk waits until he's out of sight to turn to you. Good, he lets out a breath. Well, head sleeper. I thought from the look in your eye you were going to knock him out, he says. He chuckles. I'd love to. I bet, Kirk stares down the Yordor. But don't you worry, we're going to pay him back for all of that very soon. Kirk squeezes your shoulder. Shall we go meet this crew? See what their opinions are on Lothig's administration? He smiles broadly. With a captain like that, I doubt they'll be very positive. Yeah, gotta say, kinda really got me very quickly, that guy. I'm not a big fan of that guy, so, you know, I'm just saying. Oh, I can do this. I can fucking, oh, baby. Okay, so we gotta deal with that crisis, like, yesteryear. Este es no bueno, señor. It's fine. It's fine. We do what we must. We gotta shut that shit down, though. That shit's gotta... Fuck me! It's okay. Bliss is having a fucking 9-carat run of luck. Excellent. Comms are down. Keep tampering with the payload. Lodic is coming unstuck. We just keep on working. This is bad for all of us. We ought to do this one. Make sure we've got them on that. This one has the higher danger. It's going to be better for us, I bet. Fuck me, really? Okay. Ugh, whatever. Oh my god. Really? What the fuck? There's nothing I can... Oh, dude. Oh my god, that sucks so much ass. Why? Why? 3 broke? Oh, this is going to shit. We have operations support. Oh, it is a knock. Okay. Oh, can't do it on contract. Is my last fucking die gonna break? Am I gonna die? Oh, fuck, I didn't grab. Shit. Have stress every cycle. Oh, we're so fucked because I didn't think this through. Oh no. Why can none of you fucking succeed on a 4? Oh, it's interface and nobody has interface. Oh my god, we're so fucked. Oh my god, it's so fucked. This is fucked. Oh, everything's fucked. Everything's so fucked. God damn it, dude. Oh. Oh my god damn it. Why did all of my fucking dice break? I'm dead. It started as creeping. I don't even know. Oh, man. Something that drew further from the world cycle by cycle, but now in this moment of waking is a shifting pain. Lumps across your body faster than you can follow, and you jerk against it. And you do, and numbness starts to spread across your skin as if you were sinking into cold water. The pain distances itself from this numbness, as if it was swimming through a circus, but then, as you submerge, it becomes distant, you realize you are leaving this body, your frame. Suddenly something pulses inside you, some system you've never known before. As it does, you feel yourself external to your frame. No, you know what? I'm gonna run this back we're gonna run this back. I'm gonna stop the stream for now, but I'm gonna run this back because I'm kind of upset about this outcome, and by that I mean I'm gonna be a shithead about it. See you tomorrow.